John, you come here this morning. Let us resume the work we have done last few days because a big earthquake happened, it. And it seemed that we had to recording on what happened last few days about this big earthquake of century. If I remember it, that happened on the evening of Sunday, right? And then even now they try to dig down on that rubble in Syria, in Belarus, in those area on the east of UE, on those countries still suffering, lingering, and even today how many days pass. So here we want it to be on our recording. And this is chapter, big title. I just say that maybe we put it like big century, big earthquake of century. So John, interesting when you show me what happened in many places. And we already look at it, you see how people suffering and crying and look for a relative and deep down in Europe. And how every country in Europe and in America rushed there to helping them for aftermath of earthquakes. But they say that this earthquake big enough, but you never know that bigger one will come after.
Yeah.
How long and when we're expecting it, hopefully it takes time, another century maybe, or 10 years from now, but who never know. But so far now, we try to register, we try to put down the book way on somewhere, make a big recording of on what happened. So that maybe after a few years we open up, that will reminding us what our work for that purpose to make and to record it and to put in history as a more form of a book, a digital book.
Yep.
Those happen and we are looking at until now and our commentary will not just talk in the air. So John, today is the sixth day and you open up again. No, that is what we register already, no? You talk about
No, no, this is new stuff.
the stuff.
Yep. This is yesterday. They put this
Yeah,
one up.
yeah. So I can see it how people
React.
show the reaction, so that it helps us. And
Well,
we could not say enough of what they did feel. They did feel the tragedy. They like dying right now
oh yeah, yeah.
in front of everyone. So John, what do you think about it? It really have a sharing the emotion. For me, that big emotion I can get, so I'm eager to recording it. And for me, the first moment I share with them how they express the emotion of loss, of tragedy, of no hope, or maybe only hope that remains for them, and what they expect. You can see how much they expect for what, for everything. So how big earthquake really?
At this time, the death toll continues to rise. Now it's at 25,401 people, with at least 85,000 injuries, and growing all the time. Like you said, Father, it is very emotional for these people since their lives were destroyed, and I can't imagine it because imagine that you're just sleeping peacefully and then the building collapse on top of you. Maybe your whole family is wiped out in an instant, or most of your family members is wiped out. I see here in front of us they're digging mass graves to bury the dead. Um, so I can't imagine how catastrophic, how terrible it is to be there in that moment. And now they're struggling to rescue what remains of the victims that are buried. And I don't know how successful is their campaign. Every news outlet that we watch, they keep showing that they're rescuing children, and I'm pretty sure that's to get an emotional reaction from whoever views it. Um, but at the same time, uh, I'm very disappointed in Canada's role so far in its contribution. Um, Not for the 100 volunteers that came from British Columbia so far. I may be ignorant, more have volunteered across Canada. I don't know that. But as of yesterday, Canada is only contributing about $10 million to
Yeah,
this catastrophe.
yeah,
And it is
yeah,
very, very in want of something
yeah,
more.
yeah,
And not just Turkey, but Syria. I mean, the surrounding nations, but
yeah,
especially at close to the epicenter. And
yeah,
when you talked about it, you definitely it was shocking to hear the two earthquakes of 7.8,
yeah,
7.6,
yeah,
to my
yeah,
knowledge, and then 285 aftershocks to my knowledge. So you know, even if those buildings that are still there are still standing,
yeah,
there's no chance they're inhabitable.
yeah,
They may have severe cracks and whatnot, and so they may fall down at any moment.
yeah. So John, for me, as a preacher, as a philosopher, as theologian, I look on in the meaning of what happened here. We should never say right away we are punished by God, or because our generation behave far from God's law, or society seem to be in chaos. But new movement, we think we try to forget God is still with us. And why, on the question, as I like to ask and to share with you, why God punishes us deeper this way? But that is not question we can answer. Why God just allowed things happen this way? So thing also, I can answer why. There are many whys in our everyday life. After months, after doing so much terrible thing against God's law, we try to avoid the blames we make up for ourselves because our life as forgetting God, as living not under God's law, as being very proud that we can take care of ourselves every aspect, and as forgetting that where we come from, where we are going from here. So the question, a deep question. The preacher, even the preacher nowadays in the church, and try to avoid the answer, try to avoid right the question for people. So they talk very much on from the book. They read a historical book. Somehow people can share a little, a little, a little bit of feeling or of of answering here and there something. But I think I can say that I am nobody to answer those questions. Why God let that thing happen? And also a question, why our society seems to forgetting God completely, our way of life so far, how many centuries already, more than 1 century. That's why the name of this one, you can go on the biggest of century, the earthquake.
Yep.
So why that happened suddenly, killing a lot of people, suffering come from where? Also the question I cannot answer, and I don't dare to ask. But for me, as a theologian, as a preacher, as a philosopher, I say there are always some causes, and then we are allowed not to see the effect. Cause and effect, they only go together. Some effect happen, you look for cause, why. And there are many things you cannot find why. Even simple thing in our everyday life, in our city, we have to abandon to ask for why it happened. So many things concerning to our every going in life, every way of life, even our own small family. Let us say a husband and wife with 2 kids. We seem to be completely because we don't want that to happen, but somehow we we are drawn to the same way of life like the rest of ours. So I just talk or I just express my feeling in some way that we are so much materialist way. We think that we can take care of everything in our future life as long as we use our head and our social welfare, so on and so forth, and we can handle things. It is good as that. But the question why you think happen and why it asks us for more to be active so that we will have a room in future to live together. Now how you can get a room in future to live together? How we can share on that kind of everyday life together? You think we can do everything because you are proud that I am civilized. I have I can make a nuclear power and anything. This city may be for me in the way you are proud. In 1 week you can clean up and you build up new again by different way. Those people is still atheist people, do not believe in something beyond their power. And they still try to be adamant. It means that persistent in what they are doing things. I do not refuse whatever we can do our best, but there is only room for God there.
You know,
So the life, spiritual life of worshiping God, and do not disobey His law, and also the big feeling of solidarity with people, and also put your hand to do. Do not ask more questions. Why I had to do this? You had to do this because you are hungry now.
yeah.
You had to do it because you to be paid next day for whatever. But why you had to do it? Sometimes we should never ask that question. Why just superficially? Because they are my brothers, because they are my family. Because tomorrow, if we don't do like this, then tomorrow nowhere our people. Then so many problems happen to us.
You
So
know,
so far now we
you look at here, and I don't mean to interrupt, but take a look at how these so-called volunteers are just ignoring the pile now. It seemed to
mm-hmm.
me that they give up trying to rescue the victims, and I'll show you here in a moment. These people should be working to get more people out,
What's the
and they're
difference?
just standing there staring at it.
I stop it. I answer
And
you. That
look at
yeah
just a second here.
yeah
You'll see that there is an excavator on top of one of the collapsed
yeah
buildings, and here
yeah.
there
I
could
stop
be
it.
victim underneath here.
Yeah.
So the way they excavate is actually incorrect. If they're trying to save people, they act as though the building is
Yeah,
just
yeah,
no hope.
I agree to you. What we are looking on, what they show to us.
Look at that.
But
And these guys standing around doing
deeper
nothing.
answer, I try to answer in their place, beyond their power now, beyond whatever they think they can do just the day before, a few moments before. Now they are in front of something beyond their power to do more. They wanted to show that they try to do everything uh, by their power, by their intelligence, by their ability, everything. But now show them you cannot. So now bring them back to just something more powerful in their everyday life. Always first go first. They should abandon that kind of believing that to be atheist is the best avenue for future progress of society. No, not all. Now is the moment people wake up, they think God above us. And that God is still loving Father to tell us, to teach us that come to her, could come to me. Until you bow down, you pray to me, and you understand what happened to your family. And then second answer from God, those people you are losing now, maybe they are saved. Maybe they are good people in your family, and so on. I get honor them for rewarding in heaven, far from what you see, and because you are proud people. You are somehow persistent in your unbelief. No religion is the best way for you to live. Now look at it. No church is the best way to be happy. Now you look at it. No kneeling down to recognize you is in heaven, common Father in heaven. That's the best way for you to live in society. No way. On that answer now you can see. I don't mean that I do not give consolation to my people, but as I said before, your people, God allow or God bring them far away from tragedy. They are safe and sound now. They are in eternity way of life now. So hopefully honor will open our eye wider. And now let us pray so that God help us, the believer, and God help us to open our mind and our heart to do your job brotherly and no matter what we have to do. We cannot live with the destruction now. We cannot uh, come and let cook a little bit and fill our stomach, and that's the only thing we do here. We could not run away because man is so bad now. So we try to be atheists for good thing, for selfish way, not for reality of life. Reality of our life composed a lot of elements, and all the folks ought to kneel down to recognize that who is the one who knows on those causes, and whatever in front of us, who created on these things. Act quite on also under the one who created material things. But we can only say that why he allowed the force of nature so strong. Maybe he allowed it because open our eyes so that we will not be living that kind of materialistic way, atheistic way, immoral way, and as if we can do anything. We are ourselves. God is what for? God is dead. I read and I still remember a statement of medieval, not just now, at least about 70 years ago. There's such a pronunciation that God is dead.
Yeah, Nietzsche.
Yeah, God is dead in our life.
Yeah.
So say rightly, they want to profess he empowered to do in this life, and that being empowered by the power of human being. Nonsense now. So then I see back on this happen, and I don't know how long that carry on. I hope for the best that they clean up, but for granted how long, and they build up the new society. And I want very much all of us open our eyes, rebeing on the center of centuries, like monument of faith, monument of Christianity, monument of believer in something greater. They achieve a lot of things for us. And we somehow, like children, living and never continue that achievement. Human being empowered to achieve. The first thing is the place of God among us. And God not just different way, different faith. When I give room for that kind of not completely understanding our loving Father is Father of all, and our belief on unique belief in Him, and we believe in many other ways than that kind of belief. We have different kind of religion nowadays in our times. What is true religion? Now open your eyes. Your religion, not the religion of your poor, the religion of your rich, the religion of my race, the religion of your house, the religion, and thousand religion that way, and thousand God that way. How far we are going. So we share that common destruction. Oh, if I can talk more about theology, about Bible, and there's still many things to enlighten what I share with you now. Many saints already say the rabbis, after they achieve a lot of the field of their specialist on, and at the end of that they bow their head, they say, oh, what the rabbis, what they achieve so far. So even those, those magnificent people in our history already expressing that kind of humanity we are living now. So, so hope one and for all, this big earthquake will clean up that kind of rubbish of not believing in God. That kind of rubbish thing, philosophers and so on, and do not bear that God is money, God is power. The only thing half truth. God is power, but not power you are seeking for. God is not is not on the thing surrounding you as if that from your hand. Just a good thing come from Him, but we do not recognize giving Him blessing before we enjoy it. Like before dinner, we ask God blessing for our food and our drink. The whole customary marvelous. But how many people observe that? How many people really realize that there's a good thing on that moment where it come from? How many? Nothing. No one. We are wasting things rather, and we doing things that you take for granted. a lot of years I talk a lot, but so far that I feel deeply that earthquake open our eyes and teach a deeper lesson for all people everywhere, and do not blame God why He allowed that happen. For now, I think I can answer why He allowed that question. For our own good and for something greater, good for ourselves, we don't know. So that this big earthquake, you will see, the people will be less behaving like atheists. They pray now for nonsense, everything they pray for. They pray for help from someone else. And until they are tired of praying for those help, unless they come back, we adore you, God. We know now we are back behaving as our country. We practice atheism, communism, we influence from Soviet. The Soviet also run away from that belief. They become Republican. They become to be very proud of their past. During that time, they were still very good Christian country in Europe. So that thing will happen to our time nowadays. I can say something more. Putin and Russia seem to be stronger to the many European countries facing like enemy. But I think Russia also on this moment rely on praying more. They think, try to keep that kind of faith very strong in the heart of the country. I don't think that Russia now is atheism. I don't think that Russia now is a worse atheism than we are, because we are blessed by abundant material things, not save the suffering so much. But Russia, they already encounter or face with so many suffering in their own country, and they become more believing in God. Maybe they look at God with their pride, and they are very proud to profess that from their grandparents they have a good heart of Christianity. So now the Pope also, when talk about this thing, the other day he or she is crying. And the rest are also the same thing, sharing that kind of big thing happen. But there is something more, both of them still stop, as if they can solve the problem, as if they can be greater than the other side, as if they avoid to talk about communion between all of us like brothers and sisters, as if they still fail to see that we are all one house of God until that moment come in. I think we still facing that kind of teaching for all of us. And continue that living teaching, God Himself come to us more than ever. I have some picture there I showed you the other day describing how our human life, that is center of really what we are. We still have another alienated folks, even folks, and we know very well, like a Catholic teaching, Episcopalian teaching, own Christian teaching also know the bad element, destructive element, living, destroying humanity. I sum up in the name humanity. No matter what section, what country, you are selfish or you so on, so forth, you're forgetting. But there is a big enemy against our own humanity. Our own humanity is been blessed by who created us. But humanity will be destroyed if we abandon reality, trusting and loving our Creator. And we still try to forgetting the source of our adherence for our life. Then we still encounter those divisions, those fighting, those destroying. And at the end, God allows the natural forces to make us wake up. Human forces can never teach each other the lesson. There were already human forces. Two brothers fighting each other, and they go nowhere until God tells them why. The why laid on both sides open. and they shake hands. They go to pray together. They ask for forgiveness, and they live in love of each other like brother. If we try to fight that everything comes from our bigger, our more power than you don't do anything. You had your figure like this, and then the problem never solved. Because deep down in our heart, we still believe deeply and realize on our own for us if that comes for me. Whoever can do that job, I saw my hands so strong, so on. And that Chinese way I can say, is really our humanity is to go on. And now the last question, I might say, this were already beginning of what I'm talking about, the third world. Maybe humanity is still far away from what the rightfulness, righteousness, and God look away. And I talk to you, the lot in Sodoma, and just a symbol of, or just a little bit for understanding. Sodoma represent our work nowadays. The good and the bad is in mix up there.
Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's a mix up there. And Nineveh
Yeah.
is that city. So don't say all of them are bad, and all of us are good. That thinking is not right to think about. And just thinking there must be a punishment, and where it come from, why it come from, and who will be the author of it, and how we can do it. Like I said before, unless all of us join hands together and say that after everything else, God, no. So let us repent. Let us reform our humanity as the house of God. Let us say, no any other way you believe in God, then let us join heart. The source of God is God enlighten each one of us, and we will have our prayer will help us to have, and God will bless us at the end. I don't know what will come up now, but this seems that this presentation of effort can never to the end of this month or many months ahead,
Oh yeah, I would say it's at least 10 years of cleaning up to do
and being
and building up, yeah, building up new ones. There isn't a single building that I would trust in that whole vicinity. Everything has to be rebuilt, and it's just like
you open
Haiti
somewhere,
all over again.
you open somewhere. If in United Nations or anyone can have that big head to reconcile everyone and to join everyone to be a strong force and have that true like if I true thing like on your people expressing. But the whole work must have something like that on the moment from your heart
Mm.
to embrace your brothers
Yeah, and help them.
and no more enemy now.
Yeah.
So when that begin, the whole of you no evidently the new come in. The Syria and the Turkey and the West and the I am France. I am represent France. I am represent Canada, and I talk so that everyone know that who I am, and then I can put it in. I think there's still something that ties us down to some small thing, and we never free to understand like that. Lady crying a lot, crying because now the only fed they come or not,
Yeah, yeah, they have
and
nothing
nothing
left.
else.
Yeah.
And who come to to breathe that kind of air? Who come to give them a little bit to survive a day? Your thing are tied down to our our capacity as human being, but we rejected it, we kick it away. And now at the moment, who will explain to us? You will know how to go back to what you must be. Look at your own ability. Who come now to clear up? Take time. And hope on the leader of your place, they have authority, human authority for time being. You have to open your heart.
Do you think that it would be wise to rebuild at that same city, or to build up another city somewhere
Now
else?
you ask the question. For me, I think that
It is
uh,
foolish to build there.
yeah, no. For me, I think this way. Later you can tell what
Tell
you
me, yeah,
think.
yeah,
I think this way. United Nations own your country, first own European country, witnessing a tragedy at hand.
yeah,
And they still possess a lot of resources a human being can have. So now beyond all that kind of belief, all that kind of religion, all that kind of atheism, materialistic in West and East, they don't handle they could now. United Nations exists already how many years? And they had the United Nations going on beyond all that thing. And act like this, the people already manifested act. Concern them, building up for them, not only to survive a day, and being up for them right now, social welfare, not yet welfare like organization to give money out, but like social program, everything for people in need now. Right away, they survive, they look at your life up for the day. Right away, you have a big land, put on foundation. Now you can put your tent to housing those homeless. And at the same time, a lot of engineers, architects from all over the world. That folks, you don't do anything by looking at the rubbish here. You begin your foundation, build new houses there to hold those people now homeless. And there will be new city. And there you have foundation for beautiful house and future. You will never new architect, new way, not necessarily to copy on the past. Because on that past take time to clean up. When you then enter there, each hand let on its own people, and then you become robber, you become profiteer, you become stealing guy. Those things should be away now. So the leader now should talk about how to take care of our people, bring them far from this place, or you have a big lands building right away.
yeah,
A group of technicians, a group of architects, a group of engineers, or they have a map, and now put a tent and housing them, uh, satisfy the need of every day. So on the labor now, they surplus. The people you have, so the one who work in the garden, the one who work in the kitchen, the one who work in hospital, the one who household. So try to be clear about what you can do. And then first of all, every working day, you're going to get to pray for the one who passed away now, and to express our belief in God. God, in your Father, on our Father, all of us come from Him. And then restore education of all historical books on and Bible. Do not put them at the corner. Do not run on computer and technician and on the civilization of number. Civilization of number will pass away with time, but the history will remain with us. For 100 years from now, the history will remember what happened now. But for this laptop, for on this digital, it go with time. It never satisfy our need. Let us not bury with on those invented by our time as if they are God. They are not God. They are product from our hand, very imperfect, passing with time. I love to have a recording thing 10 years ago, at least. A lot of tape I do, a lot of CD, DVD I made. And I'm thinking, on this day, no one uses it. Wasting my resource. Unless it give a little ideas, I leave behind. I hope I can have a left behind that in alive among the feeling of all the intellectual people after me. So John, um, we
conclude now.
conclude now for this thing. Nothing else to see from this tape. And about the airport, I think we have seen quite a lot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so thank you for watching,
Yeah.
and bye bye.